Sometimes asked by students thinking about a career at the bar, or by friends who've got no experience of the law at all, Dominic, how is it that you defend somebody who you think is guilty? And whenever I'm asked that question, I always tell the story of my first ever criminal trial. 20 odd years ago, I was sent down to Marylebone Magistrates Court to defend a man who was charged with stealing a frozen meal from Marks and Spencer's. And for me at the time, it was the most important thing that had happened in my life. And I remember being absolutely crestfallen when I saw the papers in the case, and they consisted of witness statements from 4 security guards, all of whom had said they saw, I can't remember his name now, Mr. Smith, walk down the frozen aisle at Marks and Spencer's, select a spaghetti carbonara, shove it down his trousers, adjust it because it was cold, I suppose, and uncomfortable, and walk out of the shop. Anyway, I got to Marylebone Magistrates Court and I said, is there a Mr. Smith here? And this guy came running up to me and he said, "Oh, God, have you my brief?" And I said, yes, I am, Mr. Smith. And he said, "It's all a fit-up. The whole damn thing's a fit-up, mate." And I said, "Well, listen, Mr. Smith, if you plead guilty, there's a prospect that I can keep you out of prison." "Plead guilty," so plead guilty, I'm going to fucking sack you and I'm going to get another barrister. And I thought, oh my God, I don't want to get in trouble on my first day. So I said, "Calm down, Mr. Smith, calm down. Don't worry, if you want a defence, I'll defend you as well as anybody," or whatever it was. And we went into court and the trial started. And as well as all my other concerns about where do I stand, where do I sit, what do I say, this was my first ever criminal trial, I remember that I was kind of just embarrassed about Mr. Smith's defence, this conspiracy theory that every security guard wanted to fit him up. And because I was embarrassed, I felt personally red-faced about his defence. And I'm not sure I properly defended him, one way or another. Anyway, poor old Mr. Smith was duly convicted. He got 6 months imprisonment. 4 months later, I did another case, and it was so long ago now I can't even remember the facts of it, but what happened during the course of that case involved some of the security guards that had been involved in Mr. Smith's case. And as a result of my experience in that case, I was convinced so that I was absolutely sure that what poor old Mr. Smith had said to me 4 months previously, that I'd been embarrassed about, had in fact been the truth. You see, we as defence advocates, as barristers, have no idea whether or not somebody is telling you the truth, whatever the evidence looks like. People lie for all sorts of reasons. People do things for motivations that we can only guess at. And our job as defence barristers is to represent everybody in exactly the same way, with exactly the same professionalism, with exactly the same determination, with exactly the same courage, and it does take courage sometimes, as if we were representing our loved ones, or as we want to be represented ourselves. Because our job as defence advocates is not to be the jury, not to decide who we want to defend and who we don't, because everybody is entitled to a defence, but just to assist a jury in coming to their own determination. And so that was a very, very early lesson for me to learn. And the answer to the question, how is it that you defend somebody who you think is guilty, is simply this: I have no idea who is guilty or not. And I do the same for everyone.